What's up, Zoms? How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Where's Barry. This is Theory Chat. You guys are the Crimson Army, and together we will look at all the Resident Evil news and info and come up with theories and fun ideas and memes based on Resident Evil 2 and the remake. We are in the remake phase of Theory Chat, so every Sunday night we'll be right here. If any big news breaks, we'll have a special show on a weeknight or something like that. So thank you all for joining the show. Welcome to the RPD. It is so nice in here. All the zombies have been killed. I mean, spoiler alert. I mean, never mind. You didn't hear that from me. That, you know, Leon and Claire didn't come through here and kill all the zombies. Everything's all good. No spoils. So let us take a look at Resident Evil 2. January 25th, 2019. That is the date. And I saw Albert F. and Wesker in the chat there, and that is where this next slide comes from. It's on his stream at all times, and we show it to you every time before we start Theory Chat. 152 days. That sounds like an eternity. It is an eternity, but you know what? That just means we're going to have 152, maybe 100 videos in between, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun. What's up to all the Zoms jumping in? Big shout out to the Zom Squad. If you guys are in the Zom Squad, show the people some of those emojis. Follow me on social media. Where's Barry B? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All week long, news, memes. That's what we got over there. Zom Squad, if you guys are interested in joining, getting some of these emojis, check the link in the description. I think it's still in there. Yeah, it's called sponsor in the description, but it's called member now. Anyways, shout out to these people. They're awesome. They help support the channel, and the reason I'm talking so fast is because we have so much to talk about. It's insane. We actually did 2 episodes of this show last week on Tuesday night and Wednesday night. So if you want to learn more about the Claire screenshots and the Claire demo, go watch those. We're going to touch on some of that, but we're going to have a whole new show with all this stuff here. It's so much stuff. It's even more than this. There's 50 different screens that are going to pop up tonight, at least, possibly even more. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. Make sure that you guys stay active in the chat, and starting right now, let me know how you guys are feeling tonight in emojis. Whenever I do the emoji call, we will show you guys up on the screen, and when you guys are up on the screen, we can see all the emojis blasting through, and we will cut to you guys throughout the show because you guys are the ones who make this show work. Whoops, sorry, Zom Squad. You guys are the ones who make the show work, and we want to focus on you. This week's episode, we don't have as many quotes from the videos because it was less video and more like, holy crap, more news. So we will get on with that. It looks like everybody's having a good time so far. We got Michelle's happy, Travis with some sunglasses, Cashbox happy, Mikkel happy, Angel happy. Everybody's doing good, it looks like. Jesus with the glasses, Evander with the glasses. The man is a little sad because January's far away. It's okay. It's okay. It's all good. That's what people say when it's not all good. We want to give a special thanks to Dust Golem. That's his name on NeoGaf, and whatever the new one is, it's called like Rerun, or I don't know what it's called. And he's on Aesthetic Gamer on Twitter and on Reddit. And he is the one, if anything comes out in Japan, he's pretty trustworthy to get the translations down. Him and CVX Freak are the best. I don't know that CVX Freak posted about this article that we're going to talk about today, which was from Dengeki, which is a site I've never heard of. If you guys hear in the background, I've actually did take the time to make a more of a mix of the music. So, I mean, the music is like so low, but still, you guys chimed in on in the comments, and the people who didn't say F you, man, F you, your music sucks, the people who were like, hey man, you know, an hour of the same music, it's a little too much, maybe you should change it. And I'm like, oh, thank you for being nice, I will change it once I have some time. And so I did come together with like it's like this much on the timeline, which is about 15 minutes, and it'll repeat. Anyway, that's not important. Let's continue. We're going to talk about a whole lot of stuff tonight, and we're going to start off talking about the enemies, because everything that's in this came out this last week through interviews with the developers of Resident Evil 2 Remake at Gamescom conference. That conference ended yesterday, and there's a whole bunch of news that came out throughout the week and then at the end, so we will go over all of that. And basically, we already knew this, but they kind of reiterated this. We saw it in the demo. They never really told us, but this is from Eurogamer and the director of Resident Evil 2. He says, the zombies in Remake 2 can act like they're dead for a while, only to get back up. They can look like they should be dead, but they just keep going. They wanted to make players not only feel like they reliably know, that can't be right, the zombie is dead. They really know the zombie is dead? I don't think I think I copied and pasted that. So what do you guys think about that? I know you've seen it before, but basically when a zombie's on the ground and he's dead, like literally, I'll show you this video right now. Let's check out the video. This is a video of Carcinogen, who's a big streamer. He was playing for Capcom at E3 on their channel. And this is what happened when he did the shotgun. We used this video before to show how powerful the zombies are, because it was headshots with shotguns and the zombie's still alive. But you'll see right here, the zombie technically dies. The item becomes available. That means he's dead. He's dead. And then all of a sudden, you walk away for a minute, and he comes back to life. So that is crazy. That's definitely confirmed from the developers that that's something they added to the game. And I guess they basically want the idea to be always on your toes, never relaxed. You know, in Resident Evil 1 and 2, you could go into the save menu, like your menu, and just kind of take a deep breath, like, you know, Nemesis, or in Resident Evil 3, Nemesis is about to hit you, and you just hit pause or whatever, and you just kind of go... They want it so you can't even do that in the game here, because even in Resident Evil 7, when there was a live menu, you could like kind of duck around a corner and kind of catch your breath. So it's going to be interesting to see how much breath can be caught here. Angel says that it sounds more and more like the game is really shooting for a horror experience. Definitely, definitely, definitely. And Trash Town says bullet sponge zombies, plus they get back up. Ali says it's like Jack from Resident Evil 7. You killed him, but he's still alive. And Killer says we're all gonna be a Jill sandwich when Resident Evil Remake comes out. By the way, guys, we just hit 50 likes. Thank you, guys. If you are enjoying the stream, give the thumbs up. We don't have to watch that again. Okay, this is from Game Informer. And this is some kind of bad news. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat if you think this is good news or bad news. A lot of positive comments from it today because, well, let's read the quote first. This guy Ben from Game Informer interviewed the developers, and instead of posting the quotes, he said, I don't feel like posting the quotes. I'll just tell you what happened. It's, I don't know, whatever. But he said, during my investigation, I also learned that Capcom isn't planning on adding any new enemies. And so I was like, wait a minute, where's the quote? You don't have it. Can you go on more about that? It sounds like they're not even going to add like one new enemy like Elisa Trevor, like Remake. And then he confirmed it with a tweet. He said, yep, they're not adding any new enemies, but the old enemies will look way better. So what do you guys think about that? That's kind of interesting that they wouldn't add any new ones. I've only seen it through this Game Informer interview. I haven't seen it in other interviews yet or talked about, but you know, sometimes the developers will keep even the media in the dark. So I'm not 100% ruling it out, but it sounds like they're really, really going to try and capture Resident Evil 2 for the current generation and not go too crazy out of control. Michaelia says, I'm fine with that. Finboy says, let's do it. Mr. Dutchy says, that kind of sucks. Sharif says, no, they need new enemies. Austin said, I was hoping for a new boss. Well, so one of the things, you know, no new enemies, so that maybe they don't add, like, you know, hunters or, you know, blue head zombies or whatever. But you know, Birkin's already an enemy, so that wouldn't be a new enemy if he transformed into something else. Irons is not technically an enemy, but if he you know, that wouldn't be like a new enemy. So somebody who's in the game, maybe that could still be a boss, or something like that. But I just wanted to go back here real quick to the zombies, and basically what the developers said about the zombies is they really wanted a modern version with these zombies and have them realistic and disturbing, scary to fight. This is the quote from them: "Feel somewhat scary to fight, how to make their movements unnerving, and they wanted to remind people that zombies could be scary." So the zombies are going to be scary, but there looks, and we haven't seen any of the other enemies yet, but it looks like there's not going to be new enemies. And so I decided to look at all the enemies in Resident Evil 2 Original to see what we might be seeing new versions of. So when I heard, you know, there's no new enemies, in your head you think, wait a minute, there weren't that many enemies in Resident Evil 2, they're just going to do a few. And then I looked at all the enemies and like, okay, there's actually a good number of enemies. One of the problems, in my opinion, I don't know if you guys had the same opinion, but in Resident Evil 7, I really liked that game. There were only like 5 types of mold that were enemies, and really there was like 2 the whole time that were chasing you, maybe 3. The others were kind of like boss molds. So they really didn't have a lot of enemies in that game. And I was hoping in Resident Evil 2 they would make sure to have more than, you know, 5 enemies. And then when I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, they actually do have. So it'll be interesting. Which one of these enemies here, these are the regular enemies, which one of these are you most excited to see? We've got the crow, we've got the zombies, and there might be different types of zombies, you know, different sizes, shapes, whatever. We got the dogs, we got the licker, we got the spider, we've got the licker part 2. It's like a stronger licker. We've got the plant, and then we've got the poison plant. I think they're called Ivy and Plant 43 or something. And then in the small little guys, you got those roaches. If you remember, you run through that tunnel with Ada, and if you stop the roaches, oh, they're annoying. And the larva and from the moth in that room. So let's look at what you guys are saying. Death Rally's most excited to see the lickers and Kobe Bryant. Carpo, spiders. Harold, spiders. Lily says, I want to see the crow mess up people's lives. 98 Demon says, I hope the giant moth is harder. A lot of people are looking forward to see spiders, and we'll get to some of the other enemies here in a second. But, and we'll also talk about spiders later when we talk about the new herb combination and the fact that more poisonous things, you know, the spiders are poisonous and those plants are poisonous. The lickers might even be poisonous, or the second licker's poisonous, I don't even know. But there might be more poisonous kind of things in this game. Here are all the bosses and other enemies that we fight in the game. I think I've covered everything. But you've got the Birkins, he's in 5 forms at the top. We're hoping that he does 5 forms again. We're not sure how many forms he's going to do. We've seen his first form with the pipe so far. We got Marvin, we got Brad. Marvin should turn into a zombie enemy, maybe. Is that going to be a boss? Is he going to transform into like a big monster? I don't know. That would be weird. Is Brad even going to be in the game? I think he is, because I think we're going to get a costume key and get the original costumes from the original game that everybody's complaining about not having. And then we've got the crocodile alligator guy. We've got the moth. We've got that plant. It's just like a big plant that was on the side of the wall. I don't even think it could it harm you? It might if you just stood there. And then we've got that other G monster that's kind of like Birkin. And he spits out those face-sucking type things. And we've got the Mr. X twins, which is just Mr. X, and then he kind of turns into more of a tyrant-y Mr. X. So these guys are the other enemies, and these guys are possibly going to be bosses. I don't know if the moth will be a boss or not, but it'll be interesting to see if they just keep it real. Like when I said Marvin turning into a boss, that kind of sounds like they already have bosses, so I don't think that they would do that, and he would maybe just be a harder zombie. Maybe he'd be like a Crimson Head type zombie where he runs fast or something. Was he even tougher in Resident Evil 2? If you guys remember in Code Veronica, there's a doctor in one of the places, and he's like a really powerful zombie. Like it could be like that. I think that would be the most realistic thing to do. Let's see what you guys are saying over here. Trashdown says Resident Evil 2 has more enemies than I remembered. Snuffleupagus is hyped for the Croc and Mr. X. Trend Warrior says RE2 has more interesting enemies. I'm thinking you're talking about compared to Resident Evil 7. Michelle says Resident Evil 2 doesn't need new enemies. Yeah, when I heard it in my head, I said, I want new enemies. I want new Lisa Trevor. I want new areas. And then when I saw it, I said, okay, there's enough. But I still am hoping for like a new area, and in that new area, would there be at least another upgrade of a different kind of zombie, you know? But maybe not. Maybe they'll just do the normal zombie people. And here's some... Whoa. Sorry, that wasn't supposed to pop up. Here's some news that you guys have possibly hated and loved. And that's there's not going to be any Crimson Heads in the remake. And again, this comes from an interview with the developers, the producer, Yoshi, and the director, Kondo. They've been doing all the interviews at the end of Gamescom. And this was with Dengeki Magazine. They said there's not going to be anything like Crimson Heads. So they didn't just say no Crimson Heads. They said there's not going to be anything like them. I was about to do a video that, you know, Crimson Heads aren't going to be in the game, but what about turquoise heads? And they're a different strain of the virus, because people are really getting deep and they're like, listen, they can't be in the game. The viruses don't interact. So I was trying to come up with a clever way around it, but I don't think that's going to happen anymore, because they've basically confirmed that there's not going to be any Crimson Head. Let's get your take on Crimson Heads. Trend Warrior says Crimson Heads are more annoying than scary. Gonzalo says, I'm fine with no Crimson Heads. And Ali says, crying about taking away Crimson. The Crimson Heads were never even in the game, so they're not taking away anything. Personally, I like the Crimson Head. I love this boss. I think he's cool looking. So I like that. I like the Crimson Head idea. I didn't like backtracking and burning things. It really was annoying. I hated that part of it. And that's why whenever I play Resident Evil Remake now, I don't kill any enemies ever, because then they'll just come back to life, or I'll have to burn them, and I'll have to pick up an oil and a can. Oh, it's so annoying. You should just be able to burn them right away. You shouldn't need so many items. So that's kind of the talk that we've seen so far about most of the enemies. We'll actually get to Birkin later in the show. He's I kind of counted him as a character. I don't know why. Come to think of it now. But we'll talk about him later. So, the game. People are somehow confused on how the game is going to work. You're going to turn on the game, and it's going to let you pick Leon or Claire. And what the producers said was that the order of the game is going to be a little bit different. The order of the story. We've already seen it in the demo. Now, Claire meets Birkin before she meets Irons. In the previous game, she met Irons. Irons got chopped in half by Birkin, and then she met Birkin, the boss. So they're kind of switching up the order of things. And what they said was they wanted to make the game more dramatic, better pacing. They tried to do it to improve the story, and they think that the fans are going to like the adjustments that they made. So they not just this, they might have moved around other events in the game. Things might happen before, after, stuff like that. I have this screen up just because I forgot about this screen. This is the screen that leads you into the demo. And basically, you don't have to read it, but what it says is that Claire and Leon meet each other on the outskirts of town, and then they get separated when there's an accident. So if you're wondering if that's kind of how the game's going to start, it seems like it's going to start with the same way it started in Resident Evil 2. They're going to meet each other, and then they're going to get that tanker is going to come or something. We just need them to confirm that they're going to say, "Why'd he bite me?" Because we definitely need that. So yeah, Leon and Claire are the two different stories that you can pick. They're interconnected, so they're happening at the same time. So like Leon's doing his thing, Claire's doing his thing in the universe, whatever. It's basically one story, but two characters and two scenarios doing the one story. Okay, so that makes sense. That's easy to understand. the part that people are having a hard time understanding is in the Resident Evil 2 original, this screen right here. You could take the machine gun and the side pack, and if you took it as Leon, then Claire would get there later and it wouldn't be there. If you left it as Leon, Claire would get there later and it would be there and she could use it. This kind of stuff is not going to happen in the new game. The decisions that you make aren't going to affect the other player because they're independent of each other, and you can start as either one, and when you beat it as Leon, it doesn't activate new Claire. It just starts at the beginning of Claire, and there might be new game pluses and stuff, but they shouldn't intersect with each other. However, the things you do in one game with Leon or one game with Claire are going to affect the other game, but they're built into the story. So you have to do them. You can't not do them. You can't not affect Claire's story. So that's, I don't know if that's easy or hard to understand, but basically like here, it looks like Leon's going to open up the thing with the medals, and then later Claire's going to come in there. Like, you can't not do that, and then Claire can't go in there. You have to do kind of the things like that. And that just makes my brain feel much better, because just thinking about all the different, back and forth stuff kind of was annoying. The other thing in this was you got fingerprints in the original at the bottom to open doors. I think in this they'll have to come up with a different idea or something, because that technique wouldn't work the way that they're doing this one unless the other player had already done it, and then really you'd just need to get your own fingerprint because the other player already did it while you're playing. God, timelines are crazy, guys, making me crazy. And this is also from Game Informer. During my investigation, I also learned that Capcom is not planning any story DLC for the remake. So when the game's over right now, as of now, they're not doing any DLC. They're not planning any DLC. When Resident Evil was created and announced, they had already planned all the DLC. And then throughout the process of the announcement, like right around now, they changed up the DLC, but they still had it. They just had a new idea. I think they added a third DLC. Like, they changed it up. It was supposed to be like you get 4 and then we got 5 or something like that. But for Remake, we are not going to have that information now. They haven't decided. It looks like they're going to be waiting around to find out, like, is the game going to sell? Are people going to like it? And then maybe think about a DLC. I don't even know if they would do that. But a lot of people are happy. They don't like the DLC because it kind of feels like they're cheating us out of a game. Like, it should be included. And the other thing about this is this doesn't mean there won't be an Ada unlockable or whatever unlockables. We did a lot of theories 2 weeks ago on Theory Chat about what could a possible unlockable be, because Capcom has hinted that there will be another thing besides Force Survivor that's going to increase replayability. So we said, will it be an Ada campaign? Could it be like a Jill Nemesis campaign? Could it be something like that, mercenary mode, whatever? So this doesn't necessarily mean there's not another unlockable thing. Like, Force Survivor was actually really hard to unlock. So they might have things that are harder to unlock, like beat the game under 2 minutes with both characters, stuff like that. But, it's okay. No DLC. I don't really need to spend any more money. I already spent $70 on the game. They basically already tricked you into buying the full game at $70, and then if you pay $60, you basically lose stuff. That's annoying too. They're pulling it away from you, basically pulling the chair out, because $10 isn't that much. But whatever. They gotta do what they gotta do. And let's get some hearts in the chat for Trash Town with the $5 super chat. Says, I'm guessing that you'll have to beat both scenarios to see the true ending like the original game. Just a hunch. Do you think different? That's the other interesting part about that. Getting back to that. Great question. Because if you beat it as Leon and then you beat it as Claire, then what happens? Is there going to be like a bonus final game where both Leon and Claire are at there? Maybe they would do something like that. So you beat it as Leon, you beat it as Claire, you unlock the special game mode called the real ending, and then you play as Claire and Leon at the same time? I don't know. That sounds kind of crazy. But, that's a great question. I like that question. And let's before we continue, let's see how many we got. We got 216 people watching right now, 76 thumbs up. If you guys are enjoying it, hit that thumbs up, share it with your friends. Make sure to tweet, Facebook, and other things while we're doing it here. Lily on Twitter says Resident Evil 2 Remake. So I'll be checking in on social media throughout this show. Now let's get to the fun part, the characters part. We save this for the middle when all the people are here. All of the people. Claire Redfield. So this is Claire on the old Claire plus the new Claire, and the reason I've added this in here is because Capcom has actually been monitoring everything and seeing all the. There's a lot of people who are like really sad. I'm really sad. Claire looks different, and they're like, you know, sad and crying, but it's okay. Just pat them on the back, tell them it'll all be better when the game comes out. But Capcom has seen this, and they're aware that some people are not into the new Claire yet, but they said, you know, listen to her when more information comes out, you know, get used to her. I really like her voice actor. I listened to her voice actor like 100 times in a row because I was making a video about something. So I kind of am digging the new voice actor. I think it looks cool, but we're not going to spend a lot of time, so don't even chat about it in here because we're not going to be arguing about what Claire looks like or who her voice actor is anymore. I'm finished. I retired from that. Too many comments for the last, like, basically 2 years. So we will move on to, we'll show you the old and the new. And we'll move on to the fun part, Ada Wong. And this is a new quote from this week. Again, from the director of Resident Evil 2 Remake. He said this to Eurogamer: "I think wandering around in that dress is just getting on with your job as a spy. Probably doesn't look as realistic and believable as we want in this new game." And are these real quotes? That doesn't even look like a sentence. Anyway, this means that Ada is going to look a little bit different in this next game. And the screenshot that you see behind right up on the TV here is the one frame from the trailer where we believe that Ada is in, and she's wearing a trench coat. It looks like those are her legs. Maybe there's stockings on, but it looks kind of like legs, and high heels. So that's more comfortable than her original outfit. It's a little confusing to me if that's what she's going to look like. How's that more comfortable? But she definitely has a new film noir type look. And let's get some hearts in the chat for 98 Demon with the $5 super chat. He'd like to see the players encounter Hunk's team, and excited to see Mr. X in action. So thank you everybody for your support. If you are doing a super chat or a donation or becoming a member, will we get a new member tonight? I don't know, but that really helps me to do this show. By the way, this show right here took 8 hours to create. And that's also because I'm still developing ideas of how the show's going to run. So some of that is technical stuff and not just making slides. But these things take a long, long, long time to make. So what do you guys think about this quote about Ada not looking the way she did? Here are some concept art here is some concept art from Resident Evil 2, the original one. And you can see this one right here. Everybody's been talking about, because that kind of looks like that Ada there, that Ada there, that Ada there. And it's kind of like the undercover spy look. Again, no, very short skirt, no leggings on, nothing. So it looks like the new costume is going to be even more uncomfortable, but maybe not. Those 3 middle ones are interesting, especially the one on the right where she's got pants and a long sleeve and a turtleneck. That's kind of interesting to me. And then the one on the far right there, it's far right to you guys, is what she actually did look like, I think, right? I don't know. Let's go into the chat here. Rangatang says, high heels? Really, Capcom? Finboy says, I wonder how she survives in RE2. Evander says that you know that Resident Evil 1.5 is the precursor to Resident Evil 2, guys. So this is concept art from Resident Evil 2. I don't care if there was a demo thing called 1.5 that turned into 2. It still counts as Resident Evil 2 stuff. And yeah, so try to keep your chats on topic to what we're doing. I know we're moving fast. Then I will have an easier time reading them on the screen. Travis says, I really dig the trench coat look. The heels are hot but not very functional. Caligula says the costume is kind of a cliche. So we will see possibly at TGS or somewhere in the near future what Ada looks like. And personally, I hope they don't show her at all and we play the game and halfway through Ada shows up and we're like, what? And then we hear like, whoosh, we hear the glass break and we go, my God, that's Ada Wong's music. And then Ada comes in, you know, I don't know why she's a bushwhacker, but Ada comes in like the bushwhackers, you know. I think that would be a great reveal, in-game instead of pre-game, but I think they're going to show us pre-game, and they're going to give away a lot. If you guys thought they gave away a lot for Resident Evil 7, they're going to give away a lot for this game. It seems like they're already giving away so much information, and some people have already stopped following along with the Twitter and stuff, and they said they'll come back when the game's over because it's just there's so much information popping on. And let's get some more hearts in the chat for Trash Town with the $5 super chat. Ada should be wearing something like Assignment Ada from RE4, seeing she's in a zombie-infested city. Was that like a Jill Valentine? You know what? We're gonna test out our technology right now. We're gonna go right here. We're gonna go Ada Wong. What was it called? Ah, dang it. I've already forgot what the name of her DLC was called. No! Separate. It wasn't Separate Ways. It was Assignment Ada. Aha. So this is what she looked like. Oh, that's not good. This is what she looked like in Assignment Ada, so that's what Trash was talking about. Very nice. Yeah, that does make a lot more sense. So now we got to talk about Sherry Birkin, who is the next character here on our list as we go through everybody. By the way, we're going through so many details today. I did a 3-minute video on everything we're covering today, because we always do a 2 to 3 minute video so that you're not bored, to give you the meat of it. But if you guys are interested in more stuff, instead of me doing a 10-minute video, some other video game people do longer videos, I do short ones. It's not because it's actually harder work to do short videos because I cut out all this stuff. And now what I'm doing is I'm taking everything cut and I'm bringing it into this show. And I think that's working out well, because you don't want to get bored. You can look at the short one, but if you're into it, you can watch this like a podcast / show later. So if you miss it, you can watch it, and hopefully it's running smooth and we're not doing too many pauses and stuff. Anyway, Sherry, this is what the producer said into that Japanese magazine. Again, thanks to Dust Gollum for the translations and the summary. Everything we say from here is his summary of the translation, so it's like things could be mixed up here and there, but we have a lot of trust in Dust Gollum. He's proven himself in the past, and I know he actually has direct connections with people at Capcom, because wink, we'll just say wink. They also changed her outfit to exemplify that she is lonely and kind of weird, but in a rich and sheltered upbringing. And that's something we kind of theorized before. She's got her private school outfit on. Her parents are umbrella scientists. She's probably pretty well off because both of them work. They're probably a pretty rich family. And I guess they want her to feel a little bit kind of an outcast because her parents are never around. She's not good socially, or I don't know exactly what they're going for there. But if you remember in the original game, she was wearing a Sailor Moon outfit, and she had a big chain on. She like 50 cent chain. And she would run and go, woo, woo, woo. And basically they said she was an anime character in the original game, and they want her to be more of a real character in this game, not as much weird, cartoony, anime type character. And there she is again. That's kind of what her outfit's going to look like. I hope they dress Ada Wong like that so that everyone flips out and the internet explodes. So now let's kind of watch how Claire and Sherry meet, and let's listen to some of their dialogue. This should have some volume on it, so hopefully your eardrums don't get blown out, but be prepared to... let me figure out the music.
Won't budge. Hello? Hey. It's okay. I won't hurt you, I promise. Do you need help? Here, you can take my hand.
You need help.
What?
By the way, that line is awesome.
Oh my god.
Umbrella? That big pharmaceutical company?
My mom's always at work. I don't get to see her much.
Well, hopefully you'll get to see her again soon. Wow, both of my parents are gone. It's just me and my brother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't be. It means we've got something in common, and that's a good thing, right? Here. Come on.
Over there!
So that was kind of some new stuff. I don't know if everybody's seen that already, but they had a little conversation there that finally came out as well. We think we'll see this whole demo now actually at TGS. I thought they would release it like this week at Gamescom, but they didn't, even though we've all seen it all. But that's kind of how Claire and Sherry interact now. And last week we showed you how they met before, and she basically tried to run away and she grabbed her, which actually happens in Aliens as well, but we're gonna actually talk about Aliens here in a second, because the director of the game told Eurogamer that Newt from Aliens, which is Alien 2, was something of a reference point. The first time you meet her and seeing, yeah, she's seen some serious stuff. And so because I cater to your every need, I watched Aliens yesterday. Actually, a really good movie. I forgot how good it was because I don't like sci-fi movies, but it was really good. And it is actually pretty crazy how that came out, and we will actually show you right now. So let's take a look at Claire and Sherry meeting and the alien scene that the director is talking about, and you won't believe how close it is. I've actually probably cut together the alien scene a little bit different than it is in the movie, but you'll get the idea here. Okay, all right.
Don't be afraid. Come on. We won't hurt you. Shh, it's all right. It's okay. Come on out.
Hey. It's okay. I won't hurt you, I promise. Hey.
Shh, it's all right.
It's okay.
It's all right.
I won't hurt you, I promise.
Corporal.
Don't be afraid. Come on. We won't hurt
Do you
you.
need help?
Shh, it's all right.
Here, you
It's
take my
okay.
hand.
Come on out. Come on. Easy, easy.
So, as you guys can see, like, it was like a shot-for-shot type of thing right there. So that's a really cool kind of, you know, homage or homage or homage or homage. Homage? Homage. It's a good homage to Alien. And actually in Resident Evil 1, where Sherry runs away, right after the scene, the Newt character in Aliens runs away, and Sigourney Weaver grabs her and holds her, and that's how actually Jill and Sherry met in Resident Evil 1. So they're like, well, this is more like Aliens. Well, the other one was exactly like this same scene as well, but like 1 minute later, where the character gets scared and runs away. That's actually more realistic. Here in the new one, Sherry kind of hides, but then kind of comes out, doesn't run away as much as Newt did in that original one. But yeah, here's the comparison. They're both kind of hiding. It's like they really got the idea. And even Claire and Sigourney Weaver have the same kind of reaction. They both peek into this tunnel where she's hidden. So it's really interesting. And then The other thing I have to say about that is, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, Newt. So a lot of you guys haven't even seen the movie, or you haven't seen it in 20 years or whenever. It came out in 86. 30 years ago? Holy crap. Anyway, the Newt character, this is what the Newt character does. Doesn't say a word the whole time, and then an alien comes and she just goes... And then Sigourney Weaver pulls her away, and then 5 minutes later, she's like walking in the other direction. She goes, and screams, and Sigourney, and it's not the scream I did. It's a freaking annoying scream. So I really hope that Sherry is not too much like that Newt character. I thought the Newt character was more of like a, just off the top of my head, more of like a, you know, strong character. But really, she just does a lot of screaming. But the idea is that they want you to see that Sherry's seen a lot of things as a kid, and it's traumatizing, stuff like that. And then at the end of Sherry and Claire's demo, they meet up with this fella, Wilford Brimley, Chief Irons. And here is the quote from the Dengeki article. They also tease that Irons sticks around longer than he did in RE2 and becomes increasingly unpleasant, way beyond anything he did in RE2. So just looking at that and hearing he becomes more unpleasant kind of makes me think that he would turn into some kind of a boss fight. That's a long shot, especially the no new enemies thing. It's hard to kind of think that they would add a new boss out of a character, even though he already exists. But that's just what that felt to me, because he was pretty unpleasant in the original game. But this also might mean that because it's 2019, they can talk about more disgusting stuff. The actual original scenes were pretty gross. It was a lot more disgusting than I thought. But Irons, he's pretty crazy in the original, so I don't know what they're talking about, how he could be even more crazy, or what the deal is with that. Gray Fox says, I don't want to be walking around with Sherry too much. Yeah, that would be annoying, especially if she just does nothing and then you have to keep her alive. I hate when that stuff happens. But so let's take a look at some Irons cutscenes here, just for some fun.
Beautiful town. How could they do that to me after everything I've done for them?
So it's true. You have been working with Umbrella. Then you must know about the G-Virus. What is it? Tell me!
I apologize for the white borders.
Must know.
We'll fix that next time.
It's the agent that can turn humans into the ultimate bioweapons. Superior to the T-Virus in every way. Dr. William Birkin is the genius behind the project.
William Birkin?
I'm sure you've already seen his little...
So this part coming up here, I forgot how gross Resident Evil 2 actually was. It's kind of crazy how graphic it was for 1996 or 1998. Wait a minute, that's when Aliens 2 came out. Oh, I thought Irons would be already pulled in. Anyway, you'll see him pop up. So what do you guys think about Irons? Let's we talked about him mostly last week, but what do you guys think about Irons' potential of being a crazier person? Yeah, I don't know about those rumors, so we don't really follow the rumors unless I do research on them. Steven says, can't wait for this. Meeper says, I want to see if Irons encounters Leon. That's a good question there. Oh, I forgot we missed him blowing up. He popped out of the sky and landed there, and we missed it because I put the chat on the screen. Torn Normal says, knowing his history, I'm terrified for Claire and Sherry. Next Gen Council says he's already bonkers, probably will be eating flesh. He might be a cannibal, I don't know. There's actually a lot more backstory on Resident Evil Wikia. I guess in Outbreak 2, Irons was there, and he's like a serial killer and stuff like that. I think that counts towards the canon, but that also happened... No, that happened like during... So that's going to be interesting to see a connection to Outbreak or what the deal is with that. And now we got a little bit of Birkin info as well. the developers basically said that they did the eye. A lot of people were like, oh, I don't like the eye. Why do they always do the eye? I mean, Resident Evil 2 is a prequel, so the eye was already in Resident Evil 2. It wasn't a weakness because you couldn't aim at different parts, but the idea is got to be that the eye is a weakness. So the complaints about shooting an eyeball, it doesn't make sense to me because he obviously has a giant eyeball. That's where you would aim. So they also said when he transforms to different forms, there might be more complicated ideas. So maybe there's different weaknesses in each form and it's not always an eyeball, or maybe it's just more eyeballs. Then that would go out of control. But the one eyeball on the shoulder, shooting that, there's nothing weird about that. That actually makes 100% sense. It's not copying from anything. That's exactly what the weakness would be of that creature that was created in 1998. But the next iterations of him was he transforms. The other thing that they said was, and you can see it in the demo, we talked a little bit about it, like right here, he's going to start freaking out and like bashing the freaking ground. You can see that he's struggling, his human side is struggling with his monster side, and there's just a big psychological thing happening while he's transforming. You know, when he's at his final form, his human will be gone, but he's at least got some human left in him here. And even though he's technically evil and he started this whole thing, he probably has some kind of humanity inside of him. He wasn't, because he had a daughter and stuff like that, even though he didn't really treat her right, that I remember. The other thing you'll notice here is that Claire is shooting with 3 different weapons. She's got a revolver, she's got a grenade launcher, and she's got a Mac 11 machine gun. All these guns were available in Resident Evil 2, but they won't be there when you fight this in the real game. So for the demo, they said that they added these weapons so that you would kind of get an idea of the different weapons in the game, and that's what we're expecting with Leon as well. We haven't been showing a lot of Leon recently, but we're expecting the Leon shotgun not to be there, stuff like that. When he gets the RPD, he's not going to be able to get all this ammo and weapons. They're going to change different items. But again, this is from Claire B in the original game, so they're already making some adjustments to canon or the order of the game in this. Yep, that's what we have to say about this fella. Now let's talk about some gameplay. By the way, 243 people watching right now. 100 thumbs ups, guys. You know what? I think we need to do a little hype for 100 thumbs up. Hype! Hype! So, let's get some hearts in the chat for 100 thumbs ups. Why don't we? As we continue on till the break of dawn. No, just kidding. We've only got 10 minutes left. What? How are we going to get through this in 10 minutes? We might be going to overtime tonight. We actually started on time today, and we plan to in the future, but let's keep going. Some of this stuff we talked about already. If you watch my old videos, we actually predicted all this stuff was going to happen. So that's why you got to stay tuned to where'sbarryb.com and watch all the videos, because we get things right a lot of times. So subweapons are going to be in this game. We already knew that. We've seen the knife. We've seen the grenade in this new Claire trailer. And as we predicted, they're going to actually all have 2 uses. Whereas the knife, you can swing it as an offensive weapon, but you can also use it as a self-defense weapon. So these different items are going to be offensive and defensive, which is pretty cool. As you can see here, this is where you use it as a defense weapon. And they say that there's more sub-weapons than we've already seen. Again, this is from the Dengeki article. But that means that there's more than a grenade and a knife. And the question is, are Leon and Claire going to be able to use the same weapons? Or is Leon going to have his own set of sub-weapons? Claire has her own, and they both use the knife. We know that they both used the knife because the IGN guy played the demo, and he stabbed Birkin in the eyeball with a knife. And the eyeball looked around, and the knife moved in his arm. He thought that was cool. I think that's cool, too. And let's get some hype in the chat. We did it. We got a new member. Welcome, Travis Hurst, to the Zom Squad. Enjoy the use of the emojis. Send me an email at where'sbarryb@gmail.com. Make sure to put the B at the end. and you can be or you can hit me on Twitter or Facebook, wherever you normally hit me up, and I will send you the link to the top secret Discord channel. Oh, and Alf ruined the Boogie Hedgehog bit. So let's see what you guys are saying. We're going to see some hearts and we're going to see some shapes and all sorts of stuff in there. But let's see if we can see any info about possible sub-weapons or something like that in the chat here. Anyways, that was my fault on the not giving you guys enough time and then everything freaking out. So we'll just move on. We saw the knife both. Here's the grenade, in case you haven't seen this yet. She gets grabbed. Boom, she throws a grenade to escape as a defense. Now that grenade, she'll also either be able to stick it in her grenade launcher or throw it. Not exactly sure how that would work, but that would make sense for the two uses of the weapon. What other weapons could we see? I thought they would have the crossbow, and you would use the arrow to shoot, or you would use the arrow to stab, but that was the only one that I could think of that kind of felt like a dual weapon. A lot of other ideas for like secondary weapons, but what could be both weapons? Candid says a taser. The other thing they kind of talked about again was this gunpowder. The one on the right, the yellow gunpowder, high grade. I actually colored that from the other. It's just a copy. It's not what it actually looks like in the game, so just a disclaimer. But there's going to be two types of gunpowder, and you can mix them together. This is a note directly from the Leon demo, where it shows he can make handgun, shotgun, and magnum. So the question that we have now, because we know Claire's got grenades, is will Claire be able to make ammo? Will Claire's magnum ammo really be grenades? Will she be able to make different kinds? Fire, flame, that's the same thing. Fire or acid or explosive or whatever. And that's something we'll probably find out before the game comes out as well, but that we don't know the answer to yet. And this was directly our guess from the video. I'm actually going to post a new video because the line is so perfect. Like, I bet all my money it was this or whatever. That's what I said. Red and blue is going to make you invulnerable to poison for a period of time. It also raises your defensive power by a lot for this period of time until it wears off. Again, the Dengeki article, the Aesthetic Gamer, did a summary. And that means that when you take this herb combo, which has never been used before. Actually, it was an Outbreak. Well, I guess it was in like one character in Outbreak or something, but I don't know. It didn't seem like that's really connected to this. So when you take it, you're going to be immune to poison for, let's say, 4 minutes. So what does that mean? It means there's probably going to be a section of the game where there are like 5 spiders, just like in the original. When you go in the sewer, there's 5 spiders, but they suck. Maybe the spiders are going to be better this time and actually be able to hit you. Because those Resident Evil 2 spiders, I actually did a video for the channel where I wanted to show myself getting poisoned. And I couldn't get poisoned trying. I was walking up the spiders, they were crawling on my face, and then they wouldn't even shoot and hit me. So the new game should have more accurate spiders and poison. Could also mean that there's a poisonous boss where he keeps poisoning you, and if you don't have the red with you, then you're kind of just going to keep either using blue or you're going to wait till the end when you're done poisoned. But the interesting part is that it raises your defensive power, and what that says to me is that if you do a red and a green and a blue together, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to make you a little bit stronger for a certain period of time. Whereas in the original, all it did was cure you full health. It didn't give you a boost. So it's got to add a new boost. Meeper says maybe a new Black Tiger boss. Was the chat on screen the whole time? Anyway, here's the gunpowder. Here's the note from the game, if the chat was on the whole time. And here's the quote. And now back to the chat. 98 Demon said, I never needed a blue herb on my runs. Yeah, most Resident Evil players who play the game more than a couple times, don't even pick up blue herbs anymore. It's just you either remember where they are in case you need them, or you never need them. I think in Resident Evil 2 I can do that, but I definitely get poisoned in Resident Evil 1 and 3. Okay, Trav said the chat wasn't on. Good, 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 good. And what's up, everybody jumping in? 226 people watching, over 127 likes. Thank you guys for joining. If you guys are joining late, every time the show ends, an hour later, it will be reposted, and you'll be able to watch it from the beginning and see what you missed. You can probably rewind as well, but the chat is the fun part, so try to make sure you're here live for the chat. Deluxe soundtrack swap. So now we're kind of just going everywhere. We're going every direction, but a little bit of information. I'm going to read you exactly what Dusk Golem translated from the Degeki article, and you can maybe figure this out. So on the switchable original soundtrack, it comes with deluxe edition. It's like a benefit. It's the original soundtrack, but it functions different than how it did in the original Resident Evil 2. In the original game, the music changed every time you went through a room or got to a different event. So every time you open a door, that would like cue the CD to move to the next track or whatever. Or like, oh, here's a Birkin cutscene, and then boom, that cued it to get on. And now, you know, there are no more door cutscenes, and there are no more like stuff like that. So it's got to be more fluid. Anyway, to continue, while playing the original soundtrack version, the music changes. Oh, I already said that. You can switch the music back and forth in the middle of the play, so you can turn it on and turn it off. Okay, I didn't read that. So in this version, it changes based on situation. That's the word they use, situation. Where in the past it was based on a room or an event. Now it's on situation. Not sure what that means. It's going to be interesting, and I think people are going to be disappointed because it sounds complicated, and it's not going to be exactly like the original. And I don't even think they're going to have every track, because in the collector's edition, you get like a CD with a mix of, you get digital here, a mix of Resident Evil original and the new soundtrack, and there's only like 20 tracks or something. So I don't know how that's going to work, or if they're going to use all the music. But the big thing with this is also that they said that you might hear Resident Evil when you hit the menu screen if you have soundtrack swap. I feel like they would put that in the game even if you didn't have soundtrack swap, but they implied that it was with soundtrack swap. So the original voice, everybody loved that. Everyone was bitter it wasn't an RE7. The director, for some reason, was like, oh, this is a new game, we don't want to do it. And so they didn't do it in 7, but I think that we will at least hear it in the original soundtrack swap. And I don't have any more information than that. So here's another article, really quick. We're going to go through the last couple. This was from TrustedReviews.com's interview with the developers. They said, we are currently focused on Resident Evil 2 Remake, getting it out the door and seeing how everyone receives it in January, but who knows what the future holds. And the key takeaway from this is that they said they're going to see how everyone receives it in January, which means they're going to wait to decide on Remake. They're going to wait to decide on DLC, like we talked about earlier. They don't know what they're to expect with this. It's really like seems to Capcom that it's kind of like what's going to happen here. Although they did say the pre-orders looked good, they still are probably curious as to how this game's going to do, because Resident Evil 7 had a weird cycle where it sold well, okay, but then it just kind of kept selling and selling like throughout. It didn't like do the boost and then jump off. It did have a jump off, but it would kind of evened out differently. And then this quote, I thought is good to talk about here just for a minute. It wouldn't be totally laughable to remake the Resident Evil remake. We had so much discussion last week in last third chat and on all the videos about what they would remake and what they wouldn't, and we were yelling at each other about Resident Evil 4, and no, it doesn't need a remake, but no, it sold a lot. This is hilarious to me, that it is kind of laughable that they would say it was not laughable to remake the remake in the engine, and that, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it if they changed it to 2 different missions, Jill and Chris, and they did separate things like Leon and Claire are going to do in this game, I wouldn't mind that. But they would have to separate the two. If they did another one where their storylines make no sense, that would be a little bit dumb. And that's all the articles from the week. If you guys have any other articles, be sure to send me them during the week on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you can send me them. That we'll cover on the show. I'm usually, checking news every, second. So I usually see all the articles, but please keep sending them to me because sometimes I'm asleep. Sometimes I have I have an actual job, 9 to 5. So sometimes I'll be in meetings. I'll miss stuff. Be sure to send it. But so far I haven't really missed too much. But the Tokyo Game Show, now that Gamescom is over, this is the next event you guys are going to want to be paying attention to. The Resident Evil buzz might be flatlining here until September, about a month away, less than a month away. And this is the big show. Well, it's the big show. And they're gonna, they confirmed in that Dengeki article that this is gonna be a lot more information here. And this is gonna be the big, they're gonna do a lot of stuff here at Tokyo Game Show. They're gonna have a conference. They're gonna have both demos playable for people there. So we're expecting we might see a demo come out of that. But these dates, and as we approach the dates and as they come out with the schedule, we're actually going to do these Theory Chat shows live, and we're going to watch the conferences on the screen, or we're going to watch people live tweet it, whatever we can legally do or whatever. But we'll have live shows, live reaction, live chat, and we'll look at what you guys have to say about it while my big fat face talks on the TV. But September 19th through 23, and you're going to start getting ready 18-17 because they get there early and they do pre-events, pre-conference events. And I believe last year or 2 years ago, Resident Evil 7, something came out before it even started. Last week, we did kind of a meme contest. Unfortunately, I don't have one set up for this week, but here are some of the memes from last week. And it was the object to use was Irons' face. And this week, the object to use is going to be Claire and Leon from that Rain poster that we had in the beginning. That one. So if you guys want to take that and make memes out of it, we will showcase the best ones at the end of the show next week. We've got Brian did a Crosby, Stills and Nash, Justin did Jurassic Park, and Rob did one of my favorites is Conan. I've been watching him since his show first started a long time ago on NBC, late night. If they made it. I forgot that even existed, so. Let's see if you guys have any questions, any final thoughts here before we head on out. You can start leaving them into the chat. And yeah, thank you everybody else who doesn't want to stick around. We're going to stick around. We're going to talk for 5 to 10 more minutes about Resident Evil. But here's where the show kind of officially ends. So thank you for watching. The replay will be posted in an hour after it ends. If you are watching this on a replay, thank you for sticking around to the end. Be sure to leave a comment, feedback on both the content and kind of the format of the show. This is episode 7 of this new format. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What don't you like? We've already switched up the music. I don't know if it worked. I'll watch the replay as well in an hour and find out. And every Sunday night we do Theory Chat. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the current time slot that we are in. We are preempting. We're right before football when that starts. That game's going to start at like 8:39 on Sunday nights. So, and all your programming usually starts at 9 or 10. So this is a good place to kind of start your Sunday night relaxation routine. And don't forget to follow on all these different outlets here. We've got some cool stuff that so thank you guys for watching the show. I had a great time. You guys did awesome in the chat tonight. The RPD was rocking. Everybody was contributing with some awesome information. I hope we covered everything that you could possibly imagine from the one. It was like 4 articles, but so much information. We tried to cram it into an hour. We went about 10 minutes over time, but that's okay. It's still free to you. And thank you to the new members. New member Travis. Thank you to Optimism, Daniel Lee, Sophia, Robert, Randy, Tiat, AJ, Kool-Aid Man, Sean, Titan, and Sean, another Sean, who all subscribed and joined the Crimson Army. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe. Thank you to 98 Demon and Trash Town for the super chats, and I will talk to you guys later. I will catch you later, evil dudes, and bye, Amanda.
Go tell that Rudy, go tell that Rudy, go tell that Rudy, that her old gray goose is dead.
Welcome to the family, son. Come join the Crimson Army, where the residents are evil now. We won't harm you. You'll get videos of theories and let's plays. Where's Barry? He have something to say. Here's Barry, he'll play all day. He's never really crunched for time. A Jill sandwich comes to mind, but that's just one of those lines you'll find in the comments. A heart of gold, keep an account. Number of deaths, a high amount. Will Barry live? Come find out. On the next stream, we'll figure it out. If the Zombs together, whether Jack is a dope boy or he wants to play, the Zombs are here to stay. Even if number 7 gets delayed or data mine, no spoilers will make us change. Cause in our mind, we're Barry's king. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And by Amanda, you're out of time. Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And by Amanda, you're out of time. Like, oh my god. By Amanda, you're out of time.
Sell and roll,